Hello and welcome everybody. Welcome to the KBIS podcast, and I am Jennifer Convy, the host of my webcast and podcast called W.I.LD Design. And today's topic is partnerships and collaborations in design. And I've got the perfect guest, good friend too. She's so talented, Rydhima Brar. Welcome, Rydhima.
Thank you. I love being here, Jennifer.
Oh, I love being here too. How's KBIS going for you so far?
Good. Tired
already.
But it's my first time and I'm very, very excited.
Oh, that's right. It's your first time here and you're really involved. Speaking of partnerships and collaborations. So we're at the 2025 KBIS. It's bigger and better than ever. It's like 5 conventions in one.
It really is.
It's really multiple halls.
I don't know how people do this every year.
Yeah, I called her and she was shopping it.
I was shopping. Yes. Wasn't too sure. Oh, it can't be that big. But it's
that big. Like you need golf carts. The nice thing is you can always count on getting your 60,000 plus steps in,
roller skates.
The first day.
Roller skates.
Roller skates. That could be a thing, you know? Yeah. Anyway, I have your fabulous, bio here, but let's just talk about it. I mean, you're extraordinary. Your background is extraordinary. Just, you're known for your bold use of color, global influences, emotionally resonant spaces. You're featured in Architectural Digest, Wall Street Journal, Elle Decor. I mean, you're also, tell us your background. It's so fascinating. Your heritage.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. I am Indian, South Asian, born and raised in the Middle East. And so I have a little bit of both Middle East and a little bit of India. And as of last October, one of the only few South Asian interior designers on TV for a brief episode.
Yay,
but still,
more
only
of
one
it.
on TV.
HGTV.
I was on HGTV's House Hunters renovation.
It was an awesome episode. I'm editing it. It's so great. You did a beautiful job. The name of the episode of House Hunters, which just aired, is Opposites Attract.
Opposites Attract.
Which we all know if you're a designer, if there's a couple involved.
It's always
I don't care. Two girls, two boys. Yeah, it's always
the case.
Right. So you're
part
a psychologist.
The same page, something is wrong.
Yeah, that never happens. Never happens. No. So, you were awesome on that. I'm going to jump right into that. Tell me the experience about working on TV, and then we'll jump back into everything else that you're doing. What were the surprises? Now, I come from 20 years of my own shows and design and blah, 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 and it's changed a bit. It's a lot. So tell me your impression. What surprised you most?
What surprised me most in general, I knew there was a lot of on-the-spot speaking, acting, not acting, spontaneous moments. I knew, but this was very, very spontaneous. And, the first 1 to 2 hours, I told them that, if you ever make a blooper video, those first 2 hours is where the gold is, with all the bloopers that I had. But having said that, once I got into the swing of things, it got easy to talk and to sort of, get familiar, find a point of person contact to look at as you're talking to the screen. But the other big surprise was the budgets. It's
the lack thereof.
The lack thereof.
Right.
The lack thereof in terms of, what we're displaying and saying that this is the goal and our entire attempt is to stay within that budget specifically for the client. But then,
and they say that on air. So without giving away names or brands or something. So give us a juicy, for example.
Well, I was going to add to that what they don't many times, I mean, they do, of course, they definitely
She's being so diplomatic.
announce it. They announce it at the end of the show, but there are brands that get involved. We were allowed to bring in 5 brands that we could collaborate with.
5, that's a lot.
And so what's not told is the collaborations with the brands. What's not mentioned is the collaborations with the brands are not a part of the budget many times, and so that part is very casually not
Assumed.
Yes.
Assumed. So basically, the audience isn't quite aware that's watching that you're getting tens of thousands of dollars of tile or stone or whatever it is, flooring, and that's sort of been absorbed as your sponsor. But you have to bring those sponsors in. You have to have those relationships in.
Yes.
But by the way, that's very easy to do. Hey, I'm doing a show on HGTV. Would you like to get a shout out? Yeah.
Yes.
So guys, everybody should be doing that if you get an opportunity.
Yeah. So the key secret, a little secret, if you're seeing the name of the brand on the episode, they're one of the sponsors. Otherwise, everything is a part of the budget.
So how did you approach it? Did you already have partners? Or did you have to go and say, this is what I need? Yikes. I got to go reach out.
It was a combination of both, because when the episode started, or the first few days of the episode, we were focusing on a very small change, or the scope of work was very limited. It was supposed to be just the primary bathroom and the guest bathroom. But
oh no!
In a matter of minutes, not even days, in a matter of minutes, the scope, by the time I got there in the morning, and by the time evening, the scope had expanded.
The house.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
It was, the scope expanded. So the moment the scope expanded, and I was like, well, does the budget expand too? And they're like, nope. That's when I started to think about, well, who are some of, my favorite vendors that I like to work with?
Right.
Maybe I can talk to them, ask them, see if anybody would be interested in helping me
out. What about
a
general contractor? Do you get to pick, or does that come with the show?
For House Hunters renovation, this particular series, we were supposed to come in with general contractors.
Did you?
So, yes.
Oh,
I was there with Alex Schorndorf, and he's with Schorndorf Enterprises in LA. And we had met twice before that at a networking event. But when it comes to TV, it was one of those things where they're like, we want somebody who's got that charisma on
TV friendly, who can convey what they need. You did architectural builds. You put in arches where there weren't any.
Yes,
you gave it a really warm. You took a plain box, basically. It was a clean slate, and you really gave it some architectural interest and mood and a little. It was. You did a beautiful job, because I know the time crunch, and
the time crunch was non-existent, and I drove Alex crazy. I drove his crew crazy, because it was all about, this is our shot. We have to I want to show my design skills and aesthetics. You got to make your crew work overnight.
You do. I moved in once a whole weekend for a show that I got on Friday and had to redo by Monday, and it was on morning TV. But the thing is, though, it's worth doing it. Even if nobody sees, I've had designers tell me, God, I practically have to pay them to do this. And I said, then do it. Because even if they're rarely going to see it in real time, but you have that stamp of approval. It's not fair. You're as talented as you were before. But it's just in the court of public opinion. It gives you, write a book, get a show. Those things give you the stamp of approval in a very public way that is a shortcut. And it's still you. It's still your design. Now, you're a mom. You've got 2 young children. How do you think you would want to do TV full time? I mean, already I don't even understand how parents work in design full time. You're super women.
I enjoy TV. I'll be honest. I did enjoy TV.
You're great.
Thank you.
And super photogenic. Nobody can see this on a podcast, but they know you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. No, I really enjoyed it. I think as far as the show goes, my schedule was a little bit relaxed, so I was able to balance it. Full-time TV, I know I would have to try it out and see.
Yeah.
I've heard, of course, you've given me some incredible nuggets in terms of advice and what to expect.
I'll just share. My only advice is that your firm has to, if you want to keep your design firm and have that to come back to, it needs to be self-sufficient without you.
Exactly.
Because the hours are long and the time and commitment, and it's important that
long hours was one thing I wasn't expecting.
Yeah. It's brutal, right?
It was, yes. It's like one
hard.
episode, and as I was watching the episode myself, I was narrating. I spent a whole day. We did this and that and this and that behind the scenes, and they skipped all of that.
I know, exactly. And for a half a minute of TV time. I know, it's disheartening when you see that, but hey, it's worth it in the end result. It was a great payoff.
Thank you. And like I said, I want to just highlight once more, no other South Asian interior designer on TV.
I know.
Right now,
why is that? There needs to be more.
I was very, very proud to represent.
Then you should be doing all of it.
Heritage, represent me. To be different on TV, so that was very,
I think
very
more
exciting.
of it. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. I want you to tell everybody what your original career was, because you already are on another career.
This is my second career. Yes.
So go ahead. You were in finance?
I was in finance. I was in data analytics. I did a bunch of coding, SQL, SAS, pivot tables.
God.
Behind the screens. Total nerd.
That's wonderful.
I chunked, so I would basically synthesize a lot of the data, review it, in the form of spreadsheets, and then, bring it down to the 2 to 3 bullet points that I had to present to the upper management. So in
These
many
were banks
ways,
and things,
yes,
financial
banks
institutions.
and things, and senior.
How long did you do that? How many years?
10 plus years.
10 plus years. And you did this where? Back?
I started out in Delaware.
Okay.
And I was bored right out of college, being in Delaware is not the right place to be. So, but the job opportunity was good. Yes. So I stuck it out there for a couple of years, and then I moved to San Francisco. I was in San Francisco. I was with a couple of banks there, and then we moved to LA. I was still so when
you were
we
with your
moved to
husband
LA,
then?
Yes. When we moved to LA, I was with my husband, and I still had my cushy banking job with me. And I think LA made everything else happen. It just changed everything.
All right, there's a great story. So the pivot for you going into design happened how? It happened very specifically.
Very specifically.
Just in a nutshell.
It's a bit of a personal story, but yes, I had my older daughter. So we went through IVF. We had her, and she was preemie. She was 10 weeks preemie, and so I was I quit. I quit my job at the time, not knowing when I was going to return.
Right.
But during that time, we also had just moved into our condo, and I had not gotten the opportunity yet to design her nursery. And so that was bumming me out. But at the same time, once my daughter came home, I said, it's never too late. And I started to design the nursery. As I was designing the nursery, designing the rest of the house, a few bits and pieces here, and something about design just pulled me into it.
You were meant to do it.
And it's one thing led to the next after that. Friends, family, a lot of encouragement. You need to consider this, look into this, do this. And so after just, working on a couple of small projects, I did courses, and then finally I launched myself.
Yeah.
Launched myself.
Not that long ago.
In one of the, one of the historical years of
you
our
launched
times.
during COVID.
I launched March 2020.
We launched our website. We launched everything
March
a month before
exact.
the world shut down. Yeah, isn't that great?
It was amazing. So March 2020, gung ho. I'm like, I launched my Instagram, my website, everything. Here we go. And
what did you do?
April is when everything just fell apart, and I was wondering the same thing. What am I going to do? How do I pivot now? But I think that's a part of this any entrepreneurial journey. It's
that's
a
right.
part.
There's no status quo.
You learn to pivot. You learn to figure things out, and that's what I did.
So what did you do during COVID?
During COVID, I called up every friend and family that I knew, asked them if I could help them, or even do some section of their house.
Yeah, people were looking around, buying
pretty
stuff.
much.
Yep.
And so I approached a lot of friends and family who were nice enough to allow me to do so. And I did all of the design remotely. It was simple and easy in terms of just getting things done. But what I also did was after things opened up a little bit, I went back and I photographed. I got each of those projects professionally photographed.
Right.
That was the advice I had gotten from a lot of other designers. The photography is your resume. You have to get that done.
Right.
So a part of it was that, and then the other part of it was because again we were COVID and there wasn't much to do. Me being in analytics and marketing, I started to get involved and try to introduce myself to folks in the press and media to see if anybody would like to take a look at my work or feature my work.
You're a go-getter.
And so I was trying to make the most of my time with at the time she was 2.5, 3 years old, my older one.
Oh my gosh. She's a toddler.
So yeah. Toddler.
I do know this. So at one point, it was a rough couple of years there for everybody.
It was.
And you wound up moving. Is that the time you moved? Or at one point you had 3 generations in a house.
Yes.
At one point.
Yes.
So
it was
your
towards the end. It was towards the end. Well, mid to end of COVID, because right around that time, yes, we were stuck. We were, we were more towards closer to the beach. We had a much smaller place.
A lot of people started moving in with family members and stuff during that time. So you had your in-laws.
My in-laws.
Break it down for us.
My husband, born and raised in LA, in Valencia, and my in-laws. Everybody still is there, happy, and they love that place. And at the time, actually, my in-laws were stuck in India. So the house was sitting empty. And so it was like, why are you guys, there? Come over here, stay here, take care of the house.
And
you
the
know,
baby.
the daughter, the baby can run around, more space, etc. So, all right, you know, in our frame of mind, it was more like, okay, this is like a nice long-term Airbnb for a couple of months before mom and dad come back. Mom and dad came back. They loved being at home with the granddaughter. They said, just stay for a few more months, a couple of more months. And here, 5 years later, we counted. 5 years later, we are finally moving out.
That's how that happens.
We're finally moving out, but 5 years later.
But
so
that
yes.
sounds amazing.
So there's a whole period of time while I was trying to focus on my business and really, really expand. We had 3 generations in one household.
So you had to design that house with that in mind, right?
I was trying to design every angle of it, but then your in-laws can be your toughest clients. I'll just leave it at that.
Yes. Yes.
But,
okay, we'll leave it at that.
But there were a lot of solutions, a lot of space-saving solutions, a lot of ways to accommodate us as a family, because it was me, my husband, my daughter, my in-laws, my brother-in-law, sister-in-law as well.
Oh my gosh.
And we had...
How big was this house?
Not that big. Not that big. Honestly, not that big, but we managed.
Yeah, no, I think that's a show.
Yes,
really. You know, multifamily, your heritage, all those things. I mean, if I could be a fly on the wall. And you did a beautiful job. I saw some photographs from it. I wish people can see it
After a year and a half of a lot of negotiation with my in-laws, I convinced them that they needed to upgrade their bathrooms. Like, it was a process. It was a process.
Okay. But now you're on your own. You're redoing your house. All right. So now I want to ask you about. So we know how you feel about multifamily homes. You've done it. You've lived it 5 years longer than you thought you would.
Yeah.
And now you're on your own. And let's get back to the partnerships and collaborations. You know, we know how you did that in television and in your business. I think that is the now, that is the future. If you look at any kind of business brand, it is about collaborations and who you associate with, who you have the partnerships and relationships with. It's what we're about. There's no competition, there's community only. You know, the strength of your network is the strength of your business, period. Whatever business it is all about relationships and the white noise of products and choices out there. That's why, you know, your expertise, you know, I tell designers all the time in our organization, just, you know, nobody has your style, your experience, your aesthetic, your point of view, your personality, because that's part of it. If they don't know, like you, and feel they can trust you, you could have the best portfolio in the world. It won't matter. You don't get the keys to the kingdom. It's a luxury. No matter what level of design you're in, having an interior designer hired is a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Whether you're doing budget
or
not.
Or not. It doesn't matter. Yes.
Right. So you are involved in KBIS. This is your first year here, and yet you're designing and building and doing all kinds of things with partners here. So let's hear about your partnerships here.
One of my main partnerships I'm here with is I'm a brand ambassador, and I am with Fabiowood. They're a kitchen cabinetry company. And it's they've been a fabulous partner to work with. And being it my first time, I also had the opportunity to design a part of my booth, part of their booth. So if you're
what a booth it
here,
is.
please do stop by, take a look at the booth.
It's ginormous.
It's there are several vignettes to it, but mine is the kitchen, the studio kitchen, and the media center.
You did a gorgeous job.
And I walked
only
in,
those two things?
Those are the only those two things. Well, when I walked in yesterday to see it for the first time, the whole team over there was like, "This is you." If you know, I walk in and they're like, "Rydhima, this is you." I said, "That's the whole idea.
That was
that's
the goal.
Intent. That's
Put
the
your
goal.
stamp on it.
It should just look like it's me."
Yeah,
and so
it's a fabulous company, a beautiful booth, and it's very well layered.
Yes.
There's wallpapers and textures, and it's really well done. That's you.
Well, half of there are a bunch of collaborations within the booth
Oh,
itself.
yeah, that's right. It's Carrie Kelly, who's the director of design, and who's the other designer? It's just the three of you.
Julie Ireland.
That's right. Yeah,
myself,
we love her.
and Carrie Kelly.
It's
and
huge.
As brand ambassadors, you know, it's
explain what that is.
I always used to hear people, you know, other brand ambassadors
sounds really cool.
It is amazing, and it's something about how you absolutely have to believe in the brand and you know, feel the brand. And there's so many different marketing terms I've heard people say from time to time. But now that I am one, I truly understand. You know, it's when I met the Fabiowood team, I met them at another vendor event. It was a Cosentino event, and just the environment was very different, very collaborative. We were talking, and one thing led to the next. And so just with all of, I've been very, very blessed and fortunate when it comes to that, because I'm new in the industry relatively. Before I had even launched some, my full home projects or any of that featured, I was doing the best I can to market myself and participate in various events, whether it was a window vignette, showcase house, any of those.
Showcase House was amazing.
Thank you. And so that's in those moments, because of the highs and the hellos and networking that I did with the vendors, a lot of these guys have taken a chance on me. They took a chance on me without me even using.
It was a well-educated chance.
To me, it was a huge honor. Any vendor until date who has worked with me and has been willing to, Rydhima, what do you need? It's like till date, like I'm never going to forget some of them.
Isn't that nice?
Now, hopefully, and now as time is going, business is coming in, projects are coming in, I go there first. There's nowhere else I'll go.
That's loyalty. You know? It is about loyal relationships. And it also is, be careful who you align yourself with.
Exactly.
I mean that in a positive way. Align with people that make sense for you and your brand and your style. Don't just take a partnership.
Exactly.
And then be beholden, right. Yep. Exactly. Yep. Just because. But you're really smart about that. But listen, the brands, we're sponsor reliant, and they're looking for new designers and people with a fresh look or a take. And, all of us are. And as designers, always looking for new colors to pick with and new tools to use and all that, right? Exactly. So it works both ways. Everybody benefits. That's the point of a good, healthy collaboration and relationship, right?
Yep.
Great. So tell us some of the other brands that you have partnered up with. I know there's a few.
I'm with Jaipur Living as well. I'm the brand ambassador. Rugs. Yes, Jaipur Living. I'm one of their brand ambassadors. I'm also with Riva Floors. And I just, the Riva Floors team is here. Actually, they don't have a booth, but they're visiting, so we're going to be seeing each other later.
Good.
I'm hoping they'll have something next year. Let's see. But Riva Floors, Jaipur Living, and Fabuwood are my big main brand ambassadorships.
Great.
And besides them, I've worked with several other vendors such as Brizo.
Nice.
And Kohler, and a couple of other, for specific projects, so to speak.
Right. So what are the benefits of coming to KBIS that you can see? This is your first time, which is amazing. You're already designing booths. But what are the benefits just for, speak to the design community, benefits of coming here? Like I tried to find her and tried to find you when you were shopping.
Yes.
It's like, you got to get down to the podcast.
You have to get to the podcast. Don't be late. Thank you for your call also. And I'm like, literally, you called me and I thought, oh my God, did I miss it? I miss it?
No.
Am I late?
I just knew how long it takes to get
It's huge. I'd heard about how large the convention is. It's one of the biggest in the US in general. And so I knew it was big, but again, you don't know about it until you're physically here.
And there's 3 shows going on.
There's 3 shows going on. Builders. Yeah. And the good thing is they're all connected to each other. So that's, part of the same industry.
It's actually smart.
So it's very, very smart. But when you said, what are you getting out of it when you come here, it's the future. Right. What's happening next?
What's the latest?
What is the latest? What is the new? What should we be considering, especially as designers, the more we get involved with home renovation projects, ground up build, so to speak. It's not just about, hey, kitchen appliances and let's just a standard box. Right now, especially over here, there's so many different vendors and unexpected products that I'm seeing here that I wouldn't ever imagine that I would see.
You never see yet because they're not out yet necessarily.
And then when you are, when you go back and you meet your clients and you're trying to think of these gorgeous designs, you get to talk about some of these amazing innovative products that are coming up. So that's
what they're relying on you for. What's new? I don't want it what everyone else has. What's the new best thing?
Exactly.
Not trends, but just the new best
thing.
The
new
best
or the
version.
Future. Yeah, the future, what's changing, things that if right now it may be brand new, but 5 years from now it's going to be something that's very common, everybody's going to have it. So if you're redoing your entire house right now, and if I'm able to give you that, that little bit of nugget ahead of time, you're already ahead of the curve.
Exactly.
And you would appreciate that as a client, down the line.
I appreciate it. I mean, I've already learned about new technologies and things from AI, Chat Pro, to technical things and all. There's
free
a technical
power,
show
charging
going,
your
free
phone.
power, exactly. All this stuff is like wow.
Yes.
Even the brands I know or that you think you come to their booth like Kohler and you go see the latest, or Callista, or any of them. You see the latest jewelry for the home.
They're all
the
doing
new,
different things.
Yeah, and you go, because they wait to launch it to an audience like this.
Like
so
this,
that's the key, I think. They're holding back and waiting before it's in the showroom, or maybe it's happening simultaneously.
And we
that's
get
a reason to
excited.
come.
We get excited, but then a lot of the product is not available until later that year or
But you
next
can get top
year.
of the list.
But you can get top of the list.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So what is in the horizon, or what have you been working on? What are you excited about right now?
Well, this is not in the horizon yet, but one of the other things I wanted to mention was I received a couple of international awards last year.
You did.
Which was very, very exciting. The International Property Awards. They are all over the country. All over the world. They have different regions.
World is better. Yeah.
They are different regions, and so they had their Americas region, and I had applied for the awards, and I was one of the fortunate few who won, and it was a big moment. And then they had their Arabia Awards later in December, and I was a part of that event as a speaker. And what was the most heartwarming thing was I had known about IPACs. I had known about these awards growing up because my father in the Middle East is in construction.
Oh.
And he had, we just grew up listening. The awards have been around for 30 plus years.
Okay.
And so it was something I'd heard in the background. So the fact that I was winning one was one of those few things where when I call my father and I'm like, hey, Dad, guess what? I won an IPACs award. He recognized it, he understood it, and he was just like,
must have been so proud.
Oh my God, the pride. Forget everything else in the U.S. now. But that's the one. That one. Because he recognizes that. And then I was flying there to the Middle East, and I was on their panel discussion, and so I had him there. He was there in the audience. He was seeing me talk.
So full circle.
So that was a very, very special moment. And then I ended the year with a bang. Rolls-Royce had they completed their 120 years last year.
Wow.
And they have come out with a commemorative book, coffee table book, which is for Rolls-Royce enthusiasts all over the world. And as a part of the book and the feature and sharing the rich heritage and history of Rolls-Royce, they have also brought in tastemakers within the luxury space from all over the world. And I was hand-selected as one of the interior designers to feature my work, talk about my work, about my business, amongst several other high-end luxury
So you're all in the
folks.
book too?
We are all in the book.
Wow.
Yes. My
No,
work
that's
is in the book. I'm in the book.
This is what you went to London for.
Yes.
Yeah,
this
we're
was-
friends, so yeah.
Yes,
So
I was
she went
in
to
London.
All right, so
I missed all the holiday parties in LA because I was in Dubai.
I'm
and
sorry,
I
because
was in
she
London.
had to go to the Rolls-Royce commemorative event in London with people from all over the world. We feel so sorry for you. No telethons for you. Okay, so tell us about that party. Tell us about that event. What was it like? Where was it?
This is the beauty about design events, any sort of design events and networking events. You go to one part of the world. So with IPACs, it was the International Property Awards. I was surrounded by developers, builders, and designers of that region. And it's a whole different universe there. You feel like you're not, where am I? It's just a different existence, like, parallel universe, so to speak. In terms of the style, in terms of what's up and coming there. When you're thinking about the future, again, what's the future there? Over there, for instance, a lot of the Middle East is branded residences. That is something that is very, very hot there, and a lot of investment.
For example.
For example, Armani, or for example, some of the big name brands. A lot of the fashion brands are now getting into the similar space.
I've seen a bit of that in Los Angeles.
Yes.
But we're a very international city, so it's probably goes hand in hand with.
And it's that whole
some of that.
experience. I mean, again, bottom line, it comes down to that experience. So if you're a fan of the brand and you're a true loyalist, then of course
Have
you're
a
going to
house
go for
done
that. By them. But if not, it's a different way of experiencing that luxury on a day-to-day basis, because every single element in that villa or condo or home is hand-selected to that brand's standard.
Seen Fendi homes and that kind of
Exactly.
stuff. So you've got that certain standard of excellence. There are people that
They're
the
brought
gravitate
in.
is something for everybody.
Yeah.
So what was the London
And the
crowd
London
like?
crowd, surprisingly, very
was that party?
international. Oh, the party was fabulous. It was,
See, I want the scoop. So what's really interesting to me, the reason I'm asking you all this stuff is that people think the design industry is so glamorous, right? You do TV and you get reviews and you're doing super high end and you're with wealthy people all the time. It is such hard work. Mostly it's grunt work, right?
Ton of grunt.
Schlepping stuff and blah, 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 you know.
Physically, yes.
Schlepping grueling. They're very little glamorous until you're made up and you're doing maybe a webcast or
last bit. The reveal.
Just the reveal. Some cocktail party. That's the only time it's ever glamorous. But you know what? I don't feel sorry for us. There's always wine and champagne somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
Like you said, day of something, of some event. Even at this event, right? There'll be plenty of cocktails and stuff. They know our crowd.
Yes.
But yeah, the creatives are fun. Creative people are fun.
It's just the whole process, from start to finish.
Yeah.
I think seeing
it's a lot of work, so you might as well enjoy it.
Giving it birth. I mean, looking at it, seeing the whole thing come to life, and then giving it birth. I think it's just that whole process of coming to life, and you actually see a structure standing in front of you that you were involved in. For me to say, I'm full-blown construction. Homes are still hopefully on the horizon. But for now, there are definitely places when we drive by and I can tell my daughter, Mommy designed the house that's inside over there. So cute. For me to even say that,
and she knows where you are.
Yes. Yes.
Well, we both reside in Los Angeles, and Los Angeles just went through, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it, but Los Angeles just went through one of the most horrific and historic tragedies. We're talking hundreds of thousands of people and tens of thousands of structures in two major cities, Palisades, Malibu, and Altadena. And you were fine, you were safe and family, but you were on alert, right?
We were on alert.
Yeah,
we were on alert.
My family too. I don't live in the Palisades anymore, but I'm from there, and so I had dozens and dozens of people that lost everything. I feel badly for the kids. There's no schools. There's nothing to go back to. A couple of friends' homes magically survived, but there's still nothing to go back to. No. There's no infrastructure. But here's the thing. We had an event 10 days ago for the industry and all the nonprofits that have been set up, both for designers that have lost their businesses and homes.
There was one that you had
that
yourself.
I had. Right, that's
which
the
was
one.
Huge, which was the best one.
Thank you. Yeah, it came together in like 10 days. And it was amazing. We had 9 speakers and Adam Hunter, who has Ellie Can Do. Just the message talking to a designer that lost her house and now clients that lost house. She's the resident rising phoenix from the ashes. She is the expert on who to call, what to do, and what you need to do next. So I said, we had a 2-hour talk because we're close. And I said, I need you to tell this on stage. We're going to build an event. So we did with the Pacific Design Center. It was the perfect partnership, which we have. And what we got out of it was this, very positive. This is a rare opportunity where 2 major cities that are big get a chance to rebuild, not just build back better, but exemplary, state of the art, from below ground up. The trees burned down to the roots for weeks.
So
embers coming up from the ground. So this is an amazing opportunity in the design build community. Remodels have offset building from the ground up for 20%, right?
Absolutely.
So we'll get back to building
ground up very soon, and it'll be.
But it's going to be a really exciting time. Everybody is needed. We are needed now more than ever.
It's going to be bigger, better.
Yeah.
I've
fireproof, floodproof, all these things.
I've experienced a little bit of that in my childhood. I was around when the Gulf War happened in Kuwait. I was 7 or 8 years old at the time.
Good.
And my father being in construction. So we left. There's some parallels in terms of when I was listening to everybody's stories back in LA of how they just had to quickly leave their house. And
that's it. With the clothes on their back.
With the clothes on their back.
Their pets, maybe, if they're
lucky. They didn't get to take any family photos or anything of that sort.
That's what they think
That's basically, that was kind of what we went through as well, where we had to just suddenly pick up and leave. And we moved countries and not knowing if we were going to come back. And then we came back and it was, in ashes, pretty much. A lot of the structures and amazing architecture was just gone. Historical properties were gone.
That's also saddest. But they're talking about saving iconic architecture. A lot of organizations, nonprofits, they're saving and chipping the tiles away, which I would love to do. The 100-year-old tiles, some of those buildings. It's like, I'd want those in the next home. But they don't make those anymore, and they're beautiful. They're scenic.
And what was amazing was to see that resurgence back up. We went back. My father, we went back. We went back to Kuwait. And I very vividly remember the rebirth, the growth, the rebuild, and this whole process of reinventing yourself in so many different ways. I think that is what stayed with me in every single milestone of my life. And so
it's remarkable.
Even with my career, with my kids, with where I am right now, it's always that's the ethos. And so as this was happening, it was obviously for the people who have lost a lot, they have lost a lot.
They have.
But at the same time,
we're seeing their resilience and the hope.
And we're going to come back and we're going to help.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody's helping each other. It's really standing together. One of my favorite quotes is, "There is no man-made material more resilient than the human spirit."
Oh, I love that.
And that is true. And we are seeing it. People who just lost everything are helping other people, gathering their pets and stuff. It has been... I didn't know LA was, I know it's an amazing community, but it's been extraordinary. So if everyone can hang on to that, and that goes for the East Coast, it goes for Florida, it goes for the hurricane paths,
all of them.
It's
all
like we all go
yeah.
through, there's all of these natural disasters, and we can build back in an exemplary way because the materials exist. Don't build back the same.
They exist
already. That's not more expensive.
They're all
we will come
way ahead
through.
of the curve. Yes.
All right, my dear. Well, I just adore you, your work, truthfully, and I love us that we're fellow Angelinos now.
Yes.
And
we've been through a natural disaster together.
We've been through a natural disaster, and here we are in Las Vegas, and we'll be back, and we're going to have an exciting couple of days ahead as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for thinking of me and
soon.
for having me and inviting me to speak with you.
Oh,
huge honor.
Thank you,
as
my
always.
dear. Oh, my pleasure. Oh, I want to give a shout out. It is the sponsor, AJ Madison Pro, for this podcast to happen. Now, this is the first year this booth has been set up at KBIS, so it's really exciting. Okay, so hey, pros, designers, builders, contractors, if you're not using AJ Madison Pro, you're leaving time and money on the table. AJ Madison Pro is the ultimate appliance solution for professionals who need fast, reliable access to top brands without the headache of back orders, and thanks to in-stock promise, you get the products you need ready to ship immediately so your projects stay on track. With nationwide shipping and delivery, AJ Madison's massive logistics network ensures your appliances arrive exactly when and where you need them. No delays, no surprises. And with over 150 top brands, this is your one-stop shop for all things appliances. Our team of industry experts provides personalized service to help you select the perfect appliances for your projects.